Welcome to the Peles Castle, which was the summer residence of the first royal Romanian couple, King Charles I of Hohenzollern-Sigmaringen and Queen Elizabeth of Wied. They both were from Germany. King was born on April 20, 1839 in Sigmaringen Castle. He was a member of the Hohenzollern family. At the age of 27, he was chosen by the Romanian government to become Prince or ruler of Romania. He came here on May 10th, 1866, and the first trip he's doing in Romania was here in Sinaia, a land which looks like Sigmaringen. So this is why he decided to build Peles Castle right here. So they started building in 1873 and was completely finished in May 1914. In September, King passed away. First inauguration of the castle took place in 1883, and although smaller than now, was one of the most modern castles in Europe. Back then, Peles Castle had central heating system, hot and cool running water, telephone, telegraph, storage, and after 1900 it also has 2 electric elevators and a central vacuum cleaner system. We're gonna see the first reception room of the castle, so the room where King received his guests. Let's take a look in the Hall of Honor. So now we are in the Hall of Honor, biggest room of the castle. Located in the center of the castle, the room is 16 meters high. Very impressive in this room is that the ceiling of the room can be opened manually and also electrically since 1911. Also, the richly carved wood decoration in here. We're going to see a spiral staircase over there, which is a staircase carved by Romanian artist Gheorghe Stănescu. Panels of the room were made in Vienna by Bernhard Ludwig workshops, and in golden frames of the panels there are inlaying wood or wood marquetries which are representing medieval castles of the family from Germany and Switzerland. Are to be seen in the room the 2 marble statues which are depicting the royal members, Charles I and Elizabeth, and also a Florentine table which is 500 years old. It is to be seen a portrait which depicts His Majesty King Charles I as large as life, painted by an American artist, George Alexander Peter Healy. King was a great collector. He had impressive collections of paintings, books, furniture, carpets, coins, and also he had one of the largest weapons collections in Europe. We're gonna see a part of those in the Great Hall. Let's have a look inside. So we're gonna get inside of the Great Hall of Weapons. King's collection counted about 4,000 weapons, and thus was one of the largest private weapons collections in Europe. Now in the castle there are just a part of those. During the communist time, most of the weapons and original paintings of the room were transported to national museums in Bucharest. For example, now in the room there are about 1,000 European weapons, most of them from Germany, but there are also to be seen in the room Italian, Spanish and French weapons too. Armors in here are German, with the exception of the complete armor for horse and knight. Unique in our country, that armor weighed about 120 kilos and was used only in parades or ceremonies. What is very important to see here, it is the door right behind me, which was the King's door after 1906. So King preferred to use that door as the main entrance in the castle. Also to be seen in here, fireplace which is just decorative, and on the shelf of it there is displayed an executioner's sword from the 16th century. On the blade of the sword there is engraved a text in the old German language. In translation, when the sword will be above your head, God will offer you eternal life. Even if it's hard to believe or not, was a pleasure back then and an honor for being beheaded with that one. Also, this room exhibits a copy after the king's crown. The official one, original, it's in Bucharest at the National History Museum and was made out of a Turkish cannon steel, which was captured during the Independence War, which is also known in the world history as the Russian against Ottomans, between 1877 and 1878. So King captured a cannon right there, and from its steel he made his crown, and thus the crown became the symbol of the independence from the old Ottoman Empire. This is probably why Charles I was only a prince or ruler until 1881, when he was coronated as the first king of Romania. We have to continue also with Oriental weapons, which are very impressive. Most of those, there are ceremonial weapons. Let's gonna take a look inside. As I said, Oriental weapons mean Persian, Japanese, Indian, Arabic, and also Ottoman weapons. But for sure, the most impressive weapons in the king's collection are those displayed in the showcase. There are Oriental weapons used for ceremonies only, so we have to start to present those. From the upper part, where we're gonna see a Turkish sword, which is called as shamshir. That one is covered with shark skin, it's gilded and decorated with turquoises. On the first shelf, Ottoman and Syrian weapons. On the second one is to be seen an Indian double dagger known as Qatar, was used by the Maharaja for killing tigers. Also, there is to be seen a weapon which is a half gun and the other half is a dagger. And the most impressive and important weapon from the Romanian history, it is the red sword in the background, covered in velvet, silk and silver. That sword belonged to Gabriel Bathory, who was Prince of Transylvania. The sword was a gift for King Michael I, last king of Romania, from his father, Charles II. So visit the castle should continue with the king's office. But we're gonna see inside, all the doors look different on each part, matches the rim. If on this part the door is decorated in Gothic style with a lot of metal, on the other side the door is decorated in German New Renaissance style. So we have to continue to the king's office, passing through the waiting room. Let's take a look inside. King's office is a room built in 1883. Panels, ceiling and the whole furniture are made of walnut wood. In this room we're gonna see the king's desk, and right above the desk there is a portrait which depicts his mother, Duchess Josephine of Baden. There is also to be seen here a reading desk, the place where took place the official audiences. Till for private or personal meetings, they use the cozy corner right behind me. Are to be seen in here German and Swiss stained glass windows. Those are a part of the 800 collection which belong to the castle, biggest collection of this type in Romania. And once we are turning back, we're gonna see on both sides on the cupboard two portraits. On the right, a portrait which depicts His Majesty King Charles I wearing military uniform, and on the left, the second portrait depicts Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth with their only child, Princess Maria. Princess Maria died when she was 3 and 7 months because of scarlet fever. After this, they have to adopt king's nephew, Ferdinand. He became the second king of our country. He married to a princess from England, Mary of Edinburgh, who was the granddaughter of Queen Victoria of England and granddaughter of Tsar Alexander II of Russia. They had 6 children. First was Charles, who became Charles II of Romania. He married to Helen, Princess of Greece, and had only one child, Michael I, who was the 4th and the last king of Romania. He passed away in 2017 at the age of 96. Now the head of the royal family is Her Majesty Margaret, the custodian of the Romanian royal crown. Before we leave the room, we have to take a look at the fireplace of the room, which is made of porcelain, also known as biscuit porcelain. In the upper part there is present the old Romanian coat of arms from the king's time. Without Transylvania, because Transylvania was a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire until 1918, so till the end of the First World War. Down the emblem there is engraved the Romanian royal motto, Nihil sine Deo, which means nothing without God. Visit at the castle continues with another private room, King's Library. A room full of secrets, a room full of books. Back then, the royal collection counted 40,000 books. But now in here, there are just 400. Rest of those are now in Bucharest, at the National Library and the Romanian Academy Library too. Books are about history, geography, literature, philosophy, and also politics. And those were written in 4 languages: German, English, French, and Romanian. King spoke those 4 languages. Till Her Majesty the Queen, she spoke German, English, French, Romanian, Italian, Greek, Swedish, Spanish, and also Russian. Like all the libraries in the castles all over the world, in here there is a secret door. Second bookcase from right to left, the place where are 4 shelves. There are in there just book covers linked together. So this is the door. Right behind there is a spiral staircase which leads to the royal apartment on the 1st floor. Visit at the castle continues with official rooms for guests. First, we have to take a look on the left, where we're gonna see the new audience room, which was the last room decorated in the castle in May 1914. And after this, we have to take a look in the music room. The old music room, a room which was transformed and in 1910 turned to a literary saloon. Paintings of the room are the original, done by the German symbolistic artist Dora Hetz. There is only one exception in the room, a watercolor entitled The Little One, which was painted by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. She was painter, musician, translator, and writer. Well known under her pen name, Carmen Silva, which means the forest song. She published 43 books in German, English, French, and Romanian. And she also knew to play piano, violin, also harp and harpsichord. In this room, we're gonna see the Queen's piano made by the German workshop Bechstein. Also, an Italian Raphael harp and a Romanian violin, which is displayed on the table. German stained glass windows inspired by Romanian poems written by Vasile Alexandri. He was the poet who encouraged Queen Elizabeth to publish. Panels of the room are made of 2 types of wood, walnut and ash. And what we'll see in this room is also the second type, the heating system. So in the basement of the castle, there are 13 tunnels. The air from outside comes through the tunnels, and it comes to radiators. Now the physics say that hot air come inside, and this is how they hit the castle in 1883. The system during the summertime turned to a ventilation system, or we can say also it's pretty much similar to the air conditioner system nowadays. We're gonna change the style, so we have to leave the German decoration for the Italian one. And now we're gonna see the first reception hall, Florentine room. The Florentine Hall, it's a room decorated in Italian Neo-Renaissance style. Fireplace in here is made of Italian Carrara marble, and in the upper part there are 3 bronze statues, which are copies after Michelangelo Buonarroti. There are 2 cabinets on both sides of the fireplace, which are made of ebony wood and semi-precious stones. Back then, those cabinets were considered jewelry boxes, but because we are in a reception room, those are in here just as decoration. Very impressive, the ceiling. It's made out of gilded lime wood, and in the center of it there is a painting which depicts Calliope, the epic muse. Speaking about an Italian decoration, the 2 chandeliers and also the mirror of the room are decorated with the best Italian glass, Murano glass. Even if in this room there are to be seen 2 thrones, those in here are just decorative. The Hall of Thrones was in Bucharest, at the Royal Palace, which nowadays is known as the National Art Museum. All the paintings are copies of the masterpieces. Back then, copies were very expensive and very important because the castle is decorated in historical style. Probably one of the most impressive paintings in this room, it is the one in the corner, entitled The Virgin Mary Education, a copy after Rubens painted by Charfeliu. He was a Flemish artist who was born armless, and he painted that with his feet. We have to pass through the mirrors corridor, or the mirrors hall, which serve as a corridor for the other rooms, and we will continue the visit with the royal dining room. The place where the royal members and their guests used to serve lunch and dinner. Table, it is extendable from 12 up to 36 seats. Tablecloth is original Rosenthal porcelain on table. Bohemian crystal glasses, silvery cuts, and they usually respect the French protocol. And thus, king and queen usually sit in the center of the table face to face. In the background of the room, there is a cupboard. Right behind this one and in the center, there is the place where the dumbwaiter, the electric one, bring the food from the kitchen, which was located in the basement. The Moorish Hall, it is the 3rd and the last reception hall of the castle. A room inspired by the Spanish palace Alhambra, where ceiling and the walls are covered with gilded plaster. In the center of the room, in the background, there is a fountain made of Italian Carrara marble, and the carpets of the room are original. Now we have to step a little bit the rules, and let's take a look in a room which is not open for the public. So now, because we are arrived near the fountain, made of Carrara marble, as I said, let's get inside the king's billiard room. The place where king usually play billiard and chess, if he come closer here, you're gonna see that the table was especially created for the king. So you can count your points here. And we're gonna see also the king's chess table. This room, it's richly carved in wood. They use oak, walnut and ash wood for this room. Also, we can take a look here, the former chess room. The table was moved, but this was the place where they usually used to play chess, and also the place where men usually smoke. All the royal members enjoy smoking. King Ferdinand, the second king of our country, he was a heavy smoker. And now we have to continue with an Oriental room. We're gonna pass through a French corridor decorated in Empire style. And we're gonna see over here the Ottoman room. A room full covered in silk embroidered with gold. On the table on the right side, you're gonna see the king's water pipe, shisha, nargila or hookah. Nearby on the swords, the red bag. It's the tobacco bag. And the carpet of the room is an original Smyrna one. So this was the last room of the official tour. Now we have to take a look upstairs, where are bedrooms and also rooms for very special guests.